Uh, Hello. So this is something new I'm trying. So this is going to be my video log for my Term 3 evidence gubbin thing. So the reason I'm doing this is because I think I keep my journal up better than some of the other students, but my main weakness is like annotation, evidence and all that stuff, so I'm going to do this because I reckon I'll be able to keep up verbal evidence better. I'm a lot better at speaking than I am at writing. So my project is basically, so I want to do it about my autism, so how a standard everyday activity could be just so different to how you'd picture it. Like the anxiety I can get but never show, the feelings like someone's hand can be uncomfortable. I don't like their tone, but they seem to know this person, so they seem alright. Lots of calculations going in my head in seconds of meeting someone. For my artist research, I'm going to start off with Tracy Emin because I want to do something similar to her confessional art, like her Turner Prize winning piece of her bed and how she coped with depression and stuff. So I want to do something potentially similar. I'm not entirely sure yet. I've got an idea of what I want to do. I want to do a series of sort of comical illustrations and make them quite almost very symbolic, very surreal. So I've got a sort of quite a scary illustration of what is meant to represent myself, the darker one with white eyes, and the white one with black eyes represents everyone else. And it's just going to be my interaction stuff. So for example, before I go outside and interact with other human beings, I put on my normal skin, just adjust my attitudes and stuff slightly so I can not be weird, not be a social outcast, which isn't a bad thing. It's not extra effort, it's something I've learned to live with. It's what people expect, and it makes me more approachable, more friendly. So there's nothing really wrong with that. The style of the character itself is actually based on a horror puzzle game. A series of horror puzzle games that I really enjoy called Rusty Lake. It's still ongoing, has a very complex, convoluted, weird, creepy story that I'm really enjoying. And one of the characters who, again, it's not finished, but I reckon one of the characters that is meant to represent you, the player, not the character of the player, you in real life, is a dark mass, really creepy, quite violent, it's seen killing other in-game characters, and it's a black scratchy silhouette with white eyes. And at first I just started drawing it for fun, but then I realised actually there's quite a bit of symbolism here that I can adapt for my own ends purely. So one of the illustration ideas I have in my head would be, it's unfinished yet, but it's similar to the picture I just showed you of me meeting someone, and I want to fill in all the white space, not the white of the character, the white space, all the white space around it, with what I'm thinking in that instant. So it's going to include all of my senses, touch, smell, sight. It's going to include what I've heard of the person before meeting them, what I think of them now that I've met them, any prejudicial impressions I might have, all the anxiety I feel. I'm feeling anxious just talking about it. It's fine normally. It's when you talk about it openly, it gets, when you give it power by talking about it, that's when the anxiety settles in, I think. What else have I got to talk to you about? Last term, so the main inspiration of this actually was last term, where I was meant to provide evidence of planning, and I showed Chloe my day-to-day timetable, where I map out every half hour of my life for a week. So every Sunday at 6:30 I'll spend the next hour mapping out my week, using all the knowledge I have and any predictable elements in my life. So I adjust for traffic and stuff. I know that when I get home I'm going to say hi to everyone, make my mum a cup of tea, so I add half an hour for that. And what I want to do with this project ideally is, I don't want to confess, so a lot of people have a fairly rough idea of what autism is, what Asperger's is, but I don't really fit into either or category. I'm not autistic enough to be autistic, and I'm not autistic enough to be Asperger's. My language abilities developed really late, so I don't fit in with a lot of what Asperger's have, but I'm also a lot more high functioning than most autistic spectrum disorders are. So I'm a foreign body. I'm right between those two positions on the scale, which are literally adjacent to each other, so I'm in the Goldilocks zone, I guess. And as a result, it's been quite difficult predicting what I'm going to do, because I'm not a textbook case of autism. Like, things that bothered me 3 years ago hardly bother me now, and things that did bother me 3 years ago is quite a major source of anxiety for me. And I want to just dedicate this project to just finding out not what I am, but I want to. It's very difficult to explain with words, which is exactly why I want to demonstrate it over a series of images, illustrate it all, draw it all, symbolize everything I'm feeling, to help convey just what it's like to be me to other people. I'm making it sound a lot more difficult than it is, but I don't know, I have to consciously think about a lot of things. I have to really, really focus on whoever I'm talking to pick up on their facial expressions, pick up on their body language. I have to properly concentrate, because if I don't, I can end up saying something I think is completely fine and is actually incredibly, horribly rude. I could upset people, which is why I like to make an effort of brutal honesty, because I keep accidentally dishing it out, so I might as well learn to take it, develop a thick skin. It just makes the whole process of conversation go a lot quicker, and long term is much nicer. I'm sort of rambling a little bit, which is good. I'm talking about a lot of things. And why I want to do this, a fair few people just over the course of the last few years have wanted to, in some form of speaking, just peek inside my brain, have a holiday inside my brain. I'm like, well, you know what? Why can't you? If me expressing myself is something you want to see, then I'm more than happy to help you see it. So, in the nuttiest, meest way possible, I want to develop a series of autistic imagery that will help you it's not even see, because I see the exact same thing. It's just help you notice and interpret the way standard things are. A fairly major one recently is so last Thursday I went into London, in and out, completely independently for the first time. And the night before, I was completely terrified. I was up till about 2 in the morning mapping out my journey to and from every conceivable scenario. But I kept telling myself, it's going to be completely fine. This fear you're feeling, it has no substance. You're a smart enough person. Anyone can operate the tube. It's not difficult to do. There's no reason why you would get lost. And even if you did, you've got a phone on you. You can easily Google how to get back home. And I was completely right. First train I took whilst in London, it was quite easy. It was fun. All my fear disappeared. It actually ended up being quite enjoyable, and that caused a bit of elation within me. It's unlocked a whole portion of my life that I didn't have access to before. I can go in and out of London now. I can visit my sister without fear. I can go to London for conventions or any personal interest I might have, and I can visit galleries a lot more. No promises though. And yeah, so it's well, what's the date? It's 14th of March. 1 minute to 5, and yeah, this is my first video blog that I will put on Tumblr, and if you're watching this you will have already known that. Alright then, I'm gonna head home. Bye.